After a 9-year hiatus, Sylvester Stallone and his band of Expendables are back in the Expendables 4. Is this a movie that reinvigorates a once tired franchise? Or, much like many of its cast members, should the franchise be put out to retirement? Let's find out in my review for the Expendables 4. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review of Expendables 4. I went and saw this film on Tuesday night and I've had to wait until tonight to post my review because of an embargo on reviews. The film comes at us directed by Scott Woo, who directed 2014's Need for Speed and just this year Hidden Strike starring John Cena and Jackie Chan. Alarm bells should start ringing there. It's written by Kurt Wimmer, Ted Daggerhart and Max Adams. It runs for 1 hour and 43 minutes and has a 15 rating. So the rating has been uplifted from Part 3's previous 12A rating. The film sees the return of Sylvester Stallone as Barney Ross, Jason Statham as Christmas, Dolph Lundgren returns in the role of Gunner, and Randy Couture also returns with his ear and stories about his ear. We also see new characters introduced into the fold, played by Megan Fox, 50 Cent, Tony Jay, Iko Uwais, Andy Garcia, and a couple of others. Apparently, they'll die when they die, is the tagline for this movie, which makes no sense whatsoever, much like the film. So this film here, I went in, I sat down, I watched it. I was open to enjoying it. I like Jason Statham. I like Sylvester Stallone. Unfortunately, Sylvester Stallone's part in this movie is nothing more than an extended cameo. This film opens in Libya, and we get a story where we're introduced to the primary bad guy, who is stealing some weapon components. Barney Ross and his fellow Expendables have to go over to stop him, but things go awry. Thus leads to a new leader being put onto the team and a new mission set up to stop this nuclear warhead with these components that had been stolen, stop the bad guy. It's all aboard this ship heading towards Russia. World War III. They want to start World War III. The bad guy's motivation: World War III will make me rich. That's about it. And the Expendables have to stop things from occurring. That's the basis and the crux of the story for this film. There's not much more to it. Now, I'm not going to go into spoilers in the story, anything that happens to specific characters or anything like that. At 1 hour and 43 minutes, this film is a waste of time. This is a hideous film. This is an ugly film. What do I mean by that? Well, I was shocked while watching this film because I've never seen so much fake looking background in a movie since Death on the Nile. This is true. And also Hidden Strike, the Jackie Chan and John Cena one from this same director. It feels very much the same. The directing is bland. The film looks cheap and hideous. I mean, we're being given these movies now where we have to accept subpar special effects. And the special effects in this movie are tripe. Green screen. A lot of green screen or screen work is used for a lot of action sequences, even with the car chases and things like this. And it is so obvious. It looks like they've done something with the rendering of these characters onto the screen that doesn't quite fit, doesn't quite work. There's an obvious cheapness to what I am witnessing. The story is lackluster. The film feels cheap in that its locations are basically two places: on board this ship and a bit of desert in Libya, and nothing more than that apart from the bar that they frequent and Jason Statham's house. This is not a good movie by any sense of the word. There's nothing of worth in this film whatsoever, apart from Jason Statham himself. Jason Statham steals the show in this movie, along with Tony Jay as Decker. He was a decent addition to the Expendables cast. Sylvester Stallone is in this movie as nothing more than an extended cameo, as I've already said. This is obvious by the trailers. He sat this one out, and it plays like a Jason Statham vehicle, but all the sets are fake looking. I'm taken out of the film by the harsh reality that there is no reality within this movie, that the world doesn't look real, it doesn't feel real. The editing is poor. The continuity at the start of the film, we are juxtaposed between two different stories at the start. What's going on in Libya, and Sylvester Stallone going over to see Jason Statham's character and go into a bar to get his ring back, then coming to their headquarters to then be assigned to this mission of what's going on in Libya. In no sense of the term do I get the sense that this stuff isn't being played out in a linear time. It isn't like they're jumping back and showing you what's the gang getting together because of what's happening in Libya. It's being done as though we're given this, and the main bad guy, he stood upon a tank, and we cut away to Sylvester Stallone getting on his bike and driving over to Statham's house and finding Statham and pulling him away from his relationship with Megan Fox. We then jump back to the scene of the geezer, the bad guy, jumping off of the tank. How long's he been up, stood on this tank? For a couple of hours? I don't think so. They then get the team together, assembled, and head over to Libya while these people are still trying to find these detonators. The editing is poor. The story is poor. The story is abysmal. The story is cheap and nasty. This film feels cheap and nasty. It is an ugly, ugly movie to look at. It really is. I can't see this franchise going any further. The bad guy, one of the bad guys, his character motivation beyond money is not much more than oral fixation. As new members of the team come in, again, their characters are underdeveloped. They just run around with guns. Randy Couture still talks about his ear. 50 Cent doesn't do much, but he's a welcome addition. Dolph Lundgren, poor Dolph Lundgren, he looks unhealthy. We know there's a problem with Dolph Lundgren. We know he's been fighting cancer, and he looks thin, he looks ill. And my God, there's a storyline about him wearing a wig in this film, and my only concern is that he's wearing this wig because of treatment for the cancer. And they've written it into the story that he wears a wig. This is dreadful. This film is the worst, has the worst writing I've ever seen in a movie. It has some of the worst visual effects. The plane stuff doesn't even look real. It's hideous. This is not a good movie by any means of the word good. It's an abysmal, abysmal film. Unfortunately, this is the worst of the franchise. Of a franchise that has never lived up to the promise of its potential. Very, very disappointing movie.